Okay, next up, how to progress through campaigns and what to farm out of them. Also a quick note what characters to buy out from the stores. So the general advice to campaigns is to focus on Heroes and Nexus campaign and ignore will lines after 3.3. And the reasons are following. There are certain events that happen once per month. These have been happening a long time now, and we can assume that the characters used on those will hold value indefinitely because of this. And the most important event is the Bootcamp, where you can acquire training materials. You will need units with tags, skill, and military, and the best ones are Killmonger out from the raid store, Black Widow, Punisher, and Yelena out from the campaigns, and Red Guardian from the arena store. Red Guardian can be skipped until you get 5 yellow stars with all the characters, and this is to do in order to conserve arena credits. But in order to keep things simple, you might wanna keep the Red Guardian stars along with the other 4 members of the skill military group. As a quick note, the game will run arena events from time to time, so make sure you have like a 5 to 10,000 arena credits on hand to use on those given events. Okay, so the next event you wanna farm characters to is Payday. This one you will need 5 mercenaries, Killmonger from the raid store again, Taskmaster, Mercenary Lieutenant, and Bullseye. Those 3 can be farmed out of the campaigns. Then the 5th member you can choose yourself which one you think is the cheapest one for you to farm. And the choices are Mercenary Riot Guard from the Blitz store, Deadpool from the Arena store, or Korath from the campaign node. And this explains also how far you should push in the Villains campaign when you start the game. The 3.3 is the minimum, and if you go the Korath way, you need to go to the 5.9. Then there are 2 legendaries that might be worth unlocking. It's really hard to say which will be good for you. It all depends when you hear this guide and what other characters you have unlocked. At the time of this recording, I would say that the Nick Fury is a little bit more useful than the Doc Ock, but both will have some use. To unlock Nick Fury, you will need 3 minions. 3 can be found from the campaign nodes, Oracle from the raid store, and Royal Guard from the Blitz store. Dr. Octopus will need X-Force to unlock. 2 of them can be found from the War store, Deadpool from the Arena store, Domino from the Blitz store, and Negasonic from the raid store. Deadpool especially will be expensive, especially in the early stages of the game, since Red Guardian will eat your arena credits. And the 3rd event that used to be must-have was Chaos Theory, but since Incursion, it has become pretty much irrelevant. But if you find yourself that you have nothing to farm, then farming 3 of these characters plus Warmonger to 3 stars might make some sense. And now the old Sinister 6. Many guides have told to farm these guys, and all these guides have been horribly wrong in the past. They have been totally useless for a long time, but since the new reworks to this team, this might have changed some things. The strongest standalone characters from this list are Mysterio and Vulture, and of course Dr. Octopus. And Vulture, for example, might replace the Shang-Chi in its usefulness, but since it's Arena Store farm, I would say skip it in the early game at least. And Mysterio can be farmed, but I still don't get where you should use this hero. There might be a little chance to use him along with Dr. Octopus to clear some crucial nodes in the Villains campaign. And this crucial node is Villains 7.1. And you need to clear this. 1 star is enough. And this is what I used when I cleared this. Basically, I had all the eggs in the Byron Simo basket. I had T5 as a passive, and the rest of the squad I regret leveling at all. Green Goblin is level 34, just to keep the defense down. Crossbones is there to give a little bit more armor. Swarm is there just to chunk some damage, as is Winter Soldier. Now, with the new changes, I would skip all the HYDRA-based characters completely, including Baron Zemo, and replace the nodes that require HYDRA with Sinister 6 or Black Order characters. And lastly, adding to this list, the noteworthy mentions. If you have an extra energy, want to skip the Kree minions or Wakandans, then pick something out from this list. Depending on your progress, these units might make some sense. First on the list is Captain America. He can be used as a standalone support character in many modes. He has the global attack, making him pretty useful in many situations. He is also part of the Rebirth raid team. If you are so unfortunate that you are forced to build this team, then farming Captain America makes sense. But if possible, when it comes to raid teams, I would wait for the next raid team launch and get them out from the event, rather than use resources on this old bio raid team. Then the next noteworthy unit is Cable, which you can farm from the campaign. He sees some use in the PvP because of his passive that gives speed. Then there's Mrs. Marvel, which is only usable Inhuman character. You will need Inhumans to unlock one legendary character. And she is also Young Avenger and Brawler, which makes her more useful than the other Inhumans. Psylocke is a filler for the Mutant raid team, and Ravager Bruiser is one of the best minions that is in the game and is used in one of the Scourges. And lastly, here are 4 units that have yet to be mentioned, which have been very useful in the early game so far. Every guide that I have heard have told that Shang-Chi is on its way out, but he still is one of the best characters out from the Blitz store and is still very useful in many game modes, for example, the Incursion campaign. Same goes for She-Hulk. Cheap farm out from the Blitz store, and she can also be used in the Incursion campaign, alongside with the Green Hulk. Then the Icarus. This is very good farm, especially if you have the Cersei. They pretty much go hand in hand. And if you do not have the Secret Defenders, they are the best duo in the early arena meta. And then there is the Nemesis, which is part of the Mutant raid team, and also since he has Mutant and Villain tags, he is very useful in many situations. Then let's talk about level 70 to 75 farms. With the old shard drop ratios, most of the items mentioned in this video have reached 5 stars by now when you hit level 70, which is an okay amount. With the new drop ratios, getting 5 stars should be much faster. So when you hit level 75, there will be 3 nodes for training material drops. These are Villain's hard nodes 4, 6, 6, 6 and 7, 6. And then there are gold orbs in Heroes 4, 6 and 7, 6 nodes. These nodes you will most likely farm to the end of the game. When you have reached this point after about 4 months, many things have changed already in the game, and you probably already have a good sense what you want to do in the game. This concludes this what to farm in the early game video. After this, farm units that you will find useful.